This is the All-American Kayak Classic, Truman, 2025. Pre-fished the last 2 days, and it's been really rough. Like probably the worst pre-fishing for any tournament that I've done that wasn't like a winter series event. And I've kind of been hearing that from everybody. Water level is 716.5. So it's exactly a foot lower than last year by my records. I don't remember what day I took that record. It changed in between days, somewhere in that ballpark. I am starting out in a pocket that I'm familiar with because the bite's been so bad. I'm hoping that this pocket will give me some answers on a pattern, and then I'll go from there. The water temperature is 62.5 here, which is a little cooler than it was in the places that I pre-fished, but this water is also cleaner than the places that I pre-fished, so at this point it can't hurt to have something different because it's been pretty rough. So got about 2 minutes until line's in, and I guess I'll find out what's going on. There's something good. Keep them out of the bushes. Whatever it is big. In the bush. Okay, came out. Bass. Yeah. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Something. Yeah. Hell yes. So I caught those two good fish right at the beginning, and caught a 12-incher at some point, and there's like a 3-hour gap or something like that before I caught my next measurable fish. And this fish isn't it, but I was experimenting because I knew there were fish in the bushes, and I kept catching really small ones in the bushes, but it was just so far and few between, so I was doing things to try and get a reaction bite. If you see the rod tip, what I'm doing, I'm kind of giving the wacky rig at Alabama shake. And that fish in that last clip, it doesn't show it, but I ended up catching like 2 or 3 sub 12-inch fish in like 4 casts. And that kind of locked me into that retrieve. And in the next 2 hours, maybe even an hour and a half, I probably caught 20 fish or more doing that specific retrieve with the wacky, which I'd never had success with. I was just trying everything. I started fishing shade spots like this one right here in the afternoon because the sun was really high overhead and kind of bluebird-like. And I got a 15 plus inch fish out of this tree right here, if I remember right. And it's kind of near main lake. Most of these fish on this particular day were in bushes on steeper banks in the first third of the creek. kind of like right where that third meets the second third of the creek. So like not the main lake points, but slightly in the creek. And I was fishing not just the bushes, but any shade spot or fishing over the top of bushes that were submerged. Like that one wasn't really in that big bush, it was past it. But yeah, they seemed to get a little bit more active in the afternoon, and for the most part, they wanted that shake with the wacky. I typically don't fish a wacky like that. Like I said, I usually kind of drag it like a Carolina rig, but it's, obviously not on the bottom. Just kind of let it fall and then drag, fall, then drag.
And you looked way bigger when I hooked you.
So this is day 2. Unfortunately, my GoPro recorded the first 2 or 3 hours basically with a sideways image, which is pretty annoying, and I didn't bother editing that and putting it in here. So this was the first and last fish of my 5 fish limit that I was actually able to record the correct way. I still had 2 or 3 hours left in the tournament, but wasn't able to upgrade, unfortunately. I can't really complain because there was only like 25 or 30 anglers who caught a limit both days, which at 179 anglers just shows how tough it was. But my limit was terrible. On the second day, biggest fish was 13 and a half. Just fishing a wacky, just, grinding it out. There's a cold front that kind of put the fish in a mood, and I wasn't able to figure anything else out that was different from the day before. So that's what I ended with. But like I said, can't complain. Gotta check.